Hello and welcome to this week's Reba Shoes podcast, bringing you the very best of local entertainment across East Anglia each and every week. This week we preview two totally different shows. Firstly, a murder mystery with plenty of intrigue taking place this week in Thetford, and then in Bury St Edmunds the following week a fantastic night of comedy, which is all in aid of Suffolk Mind. Plus we've been chatting to Nik Kershaw as he's due to play live in Norwich later on this month. Finally, we've got a roundup of some of the best shows on offer around the county. The Pillowman by Martin McDonagh is coming to the Guildhall in Thetford this Thursday, the 20th of June, with two children already murdered and a third just gone missing. A writer is brought in for questioning by the police in an Eastern European totalitarian state. The victims were killed in an identical manner to his stories. They need to find and save the missing child fast and do whatever it takes. Well, I'm delighted to be joined now by both director John Hales and actor Nick Murray-Brown. John, if I can start with you, this is a sort of play which is right up my street, basically. Lots of intrigue, lots of plot to work through. What's it like to direct The Pillowman, first of all?
Hello, Stefan. Thank you for having us on. It's a mammoth challenge, to be honest. It's what I think it's a modern classic. It's very often misunderstood. And what's been amazing is just how beautiful it is to work with the cast and our musician Mario Price on this, because there's just, when you get a script that there's so much depth to and so many twists and turns and dialogue that you know, Martin McDonagh's won Oscars for his screenwriting. The dialogue is just superb. It's very rat-a-tat. It's very darkly funny. So we hope people won't be afraid to laugh. And there's this usual thing that kind of people go, okay, it's all right to laugh. And then things keep moving so often. But from a directing point of view, an immense challenge. And I'm over the moon with the incredible team and the results we're getting and the feedback we're getting. So,
because this is all part of a tour, isn't it? How far on are you with the tour? What have you got left to do still, John?
Well, Thetford is our penultimate venue. So we go after Thetford, we go to the garage the following day on the Friday, the 21st. And that's sadly it. It's been, and again, this is all possible because of the Arts Council, bless them. And we've been able to bring this out for people. And I really hope they don't miss it, because it hardly ever gets played. We're the first people to do it since the West End run, and with Lily Allen, and beautifully, we're getting very, very favourable reviews.
Which is just what you want, isn't it? I mean, there's an awful lot of hard work goes into something like this. And when you get the reviews and they are so favourable, I was going to say, Nick, I want to bring you into the conversation. Tell me about the audience reaction, first of all, and then I want to ask you about your character that you play.
Thank you. The audience reaction has been very interesting, but it's been fascinating the way it's been fairly constant in the performances so far. And what I mean by that is that we can gauge that the audience is really with us.
Yeah.
And listening. And part of that is because much later on in the play, and it is a reasonably long play, there are things that are said which can really only be appreciated if everyone has been following the play up till then.
You need to pay attention, basically.
Yeah, and because we've had such good reaction towards even very late on in the play, the reaction has been so good, we've just been able to tell that the audience has been really with the play. And there has been laughter, but there's also been a lot of quietness.
I bet. Tell me about your character as well, Nick.
I play Detective Topolsky, who's a detective inspector, and he's in partnership with Detective Ariel. And they've been working together for many, many, many moons. They know each other like the back of their hands with all the cases that they do. And of course, they have the power of this totalitarian state behind them. So they are God in this regime. there is a court system, but it seems like the police are free to
Right,
not
sort
go,
of roughshod
not
over
go
them.
along with it. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. John, I don't want you to give too much away because we want people to come and see you on Thursday, but
Hmm.
give us sort of the plot outline a bit more in a sort of a nutshell for us.
Well, it's essentially the story of two brothers, Katurian and Michael, played by Charlie Randall and Tom Bailey. Ariel's played by Mark Finbow, the kind of cohort of Topolsky. But what's so beautiful about the play is just the intricate dynamics between all the characters. And Michael has been an abused kid, and he's special needs now, so he has learning difficulties. And they've kind of dragged him in as well as a kind of bit of leverage over the writer. So essentially, they're trying to find out if the writer has done it and where the third kid is that's gone missing, and the kind of hijinks between. There's kind of three detective. There's two detective scenes. There's an extraordinary scene with the two brothers, but in between, there's also some of Katurian's stories. So you go into this fantasy land where he's talking, where he tells a story that relates. The first one is to do with his past with his brother, and then a later one's to do with another thing I won't give away, but it's to do with the theme of the missing kid. And what's great is, I mean, the guys that we've got puppetry in it. We've got Mario Price, an amazing violinist, doing live folk music with it. It's very sensory, and as Nik said, you do it, the beauty of. And I'm going to big them up. What director doesn't love their cast? But what they've created is moments where you can literally do the pin drop, where people laugh, and there's a relief, and then zoom, it changes again. And it's no wonder he's such a popular screenwriter, because this plot just keeps you guessing, and it does work as a kind of very, very, very gritty CSI type of thing in some ways. But the intricacies of all these guys are damaged. The detectives are damaged. And the way they've been damaged, whether it's by the state, whether it's by their families, whether it's by loss as a parent, they've all got their backstories, and it's never one of those horrible cliche. Oh, this happened to me when I was 5. It just, as Nik said, it just evolves and it comes out and it surprises you. So, we're very upfront about it. On paper, it's a long play, but nobody, when they know the running time, said, "Was it really that long?" Because they just come out going, "I thought it was maybe the first half was maybe an hour, and it's just gone through them." So it's if they want excitement. It's not an easy watch sometimes because the subjects are dark and potentially triggering, but at the same time, it doesn't get done. And we kind of want to challenge people to come and see it, because it's come and see what the fuss is about. Because this is the play that really kind of broke Martin McDonagh, that everyone kind of went, wow. And David Tennant was in the first production. Jeff Goldblum was in the Broadway one. So it's quality writing, and luckily, as a director for me, I've got an amazing quality cast of musicians and crew. So it's a rare chance to see something that you won't normally see, and it is funny and very, very cinematic. It's very cinematic.
And also right on our doorstep. That's what's so lovely. You're not going to have to travel into London to see this or whatever. It is literally here in Thetford. So that's superb. Nik, I'm going to ask you this question as well in a minute. But John, first of all, what's after The Pillowman? What are you going to do after this? Do you get a well-earned break, or are you going straight into something else? Or
no, do you know what? I'm getting a well-earned break, Steph. Thank you. I've had a few health things to contend with. So I've just finished making a 6-part documentary series about the Seagull Theatre in Lowestoft, and then this is not my swan song. This is my I'll see you in a while. So, and I couldn't be. I mean, what a way to go out for now. That's for me.
So, Nik, tell me what's next for you after The Pillowman.
A little rest, hopefully. I've got a few jobs lined up, just here and there, some role play. Nothing theatre-wise lined up after this, but I'll just be glad to enjoy hopefully a little bit of the summer and maybe get to the hopefully get to the First Light Festival.
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. Hugely popular, of course. And if I can just ask you as well, John, how do people get hold of tickets? That's the most important thing. It's happening this Thursday. It's the 20th of June. It's at the Guildhall in Thetford.
Yeah, if they just, if they can contact the Carnegie Hall at Thetford, they'll go straight through. If you go to the website, there's a number on there, and I foolishly haven't got the website in front of me. I'm so sorry.
Don't be silly, I've got it.
Oh, thank God
I was
for
just
that.
testing you. Look, it's
Yeah, well, I failed. I failed there, Steph.
www.thecarnegiethetford.com. I had to look it up as well, to be fair, to make sure I got it right. And you can get your tickets for the Pillowman, the last remaining tickets, this Thursday, the 20th of June. Good luck to both of you and enjoy the rest when you do have it, but do keep in touch with us, won't you?
We will. Thank you so much for having us on. And believe me, the cast are like almost on stage, all of them, all the time. So they need a rest. Believe me.
Now, earlier we spoke to Nik Kershaw, who will be coming to perform in Norwich at the end of this month. Nik and his fabulous band will be performing at the Epic in Norwich on Saturday, the 29th of June. And if you miss that, you can also see him at Roadmender in Northampton on Friday, the 12th of July. Now, audiences can expect a mix of his biggest hits and also many of his popular album tracks. I began by taking Nik right back to 1985 and his performance at Live Aid on the 13th of July as a brand new artist who had exploded onto the music scene literally only the year before.
It was equally terrifying and exciting and wonderful and awful. In equal measure. Live Aid was kind of weird because it was so. I think lots of people that day felt quite out of their depth, and I was one of them. It was kind of all rather larger than any one individual that show, other than Queen maybe, because they kind of got the handle on it, didn't they? So yes, it was extraordinary. It was a real privilege to have been there. I don't think anyone other than Queen would claim that it was the best gig they ever played, but you kind of just wanted to get through it without making a fool of yourself, really, in front of 2 billion people and some of your heroes. But yeah, it was, and I quite understandably I get asked about it a lot, and things, bits and pieces of it keep coming back to me, and it's one piece that wakes me up at 2 o'clock in the morning is when I remember forgetting the words to one of the songs.
Yeah, but everybody on the stage does that at some point because your brain is kind of working ahead of you,
yes.
and you're trusting your mouth, as it were, and then suddenly you think it's a bit like when you're driving, and you suddenly think, "Oh my goodness, I didn't even realize where I am."
Yes,
it's your brain ahead.
It's exactly like that. Is because especially when you've sung songs so many times and you're just standing there and it's all happening, and you open your mouth and the words come out, and then you kind of. I've got this little guy who sits on my shoulder. I've given him a name over the years. He's called Frank, and he sits there and he just tells me I'm rubbish, and he tells me that something terrible is about to happen. And he stood there, and he said, "You don't know the words to the end of this verse, do you?" And so he just informed me that the words coming up I didn't know. So I was kind of trying to remember the words to the end of the verse whilst singing the verse. And it was quite an extraordinary sort of 30 seconds. And when I remember when the DVD came out, I kind of had to steel myself to watch it because I had nightmares about that moment so many times. And I wanted to see if I could see the fear in my eyes at the exact moment that happened. And I couldn't, wasn't there?
No.
I bluffed it.
Well done. Fake it till you make it. Although you had already made it, to be fair, at that point. And you're not alone, because I have interviewed at least 2 other huge household names just like yourself who were at Live Aid, and both of them forgot the words as well. So literally let it go. And they said it's troubled them for years, and they thought of all the gigs to get wrong. Why did I do it? I said, because it's pressure. Imagine the amount of pressure on your shoulders at that moment.
Yeah.
You almost get to that, it's okay. I've done it. We're good. We're all fine. And then your brain just goes, actually, it's all going to fly out of your ears now. All those words
That's
that you've known for months and months are just going to disappear into a cloud.
that's exactly what happened because I got the most of the way through the gig and I thought, phew, I've done it. I've managed to get away with it. And then that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me guard down.
This is a bit like therapy, Nick. You can let it go now. All right. You have my permission to let that go and just, pat yourself on the back for all the fantastic music that you've brought to us. Like you, I kind of grew up with 80s music. And,
Yeah.
As I became an adult, I kind of looked back more to the sort of 60s and 70s and then suddenly thought, actually, yeah, we had some really good music in the 80s, obviously yourself. So it's a great time to introduce your music to a whole new audience as well.
Well, that seems to be happening anyway, because there seems to be nothing you can do about it. It's all on the internet, people can find it, and people do. For whatever reason, I think something might get used behind a TikTok video or something, and then someone call it. It's extraordinary how it happens. So yeah, I do see younger people at the shows, and people are bringing their kids. That's one reason there's younger people there. But there's also people that have just come from, because they've found me on the internet or they found me on Spotify or whatever.
That must be so pleasing for you. Nik, it's been an absolute
is.
pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for your time today. Good luck with the tour and also for the brand new tour that comes out at the end of this year.
Thank you very much.
To find out more about my chat with Nik Kershaw, do check out next month's Suffolk Norfolk Life magazine, their life profile at the very front of the magazine. Celebrating exactly 5 years since the first public performance in June 2019, Insert Laughter Here are presenting another night of improvised comedy fun and games with their first ever free show on Wednesday the 26th of June at 7:30 p.m. at the Hunter Club in Bury St Edmunds. The group will be raising money for mental health charity Suffolk Mind. The usual brightly coloured chaos awaits, filling a room with laughter and supporting a great cause in doing so. And I'm joined now by Aaron Waite, who's behind all of this. Hello, Aaron. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Stephanie. Great to be here. Thank you.
It's great to have you here too. Tell us more about this, how the idea came about, first of all, 5 years ago.
So, I was sat in a theatre at Theatre Royal Bury where I used to work, and there was a showcase performance of one of their groups, Act Your Age, who'd been studying improvisation. And at the end of the course, they had like a showcase performance, and all the staff of the theatre were invited to go along. And me and my friend Abby was sat watching the show, and it was great. They were really good. And we just turned to each other afterwards and said, we could do this. And Abby went, yeah, we could do this. And I said, should we do this? So we did. We started up a group and started having practices and got a few people together. And then, yeah, we had our first show in June. Like, it was February we started, and June was the first show. So
that's
quite
amazing.
A quick turnaround.
It's a great name as well, Insert Laughter Here. I like that very much. So. Now, this particular one, it's obviously your 5th anniversary and you're raising money for a really good charity, Suffolk Mind. It's so difficult to choose between all the charities. What made you choose Suffolk Mind?
Yeah, it's definitely a big choice. Suffolk Mind appealed to me the most because I, without wanting to go into too much detail, have had issues with mental health over the years, and a lot of people in our group are the same, and Suffolk Mind do a lot to support people that need help and finding the right places to go for help and things like that. So it made sense that because it was relevant to a lot of us, that we chose that one.
Oh, that's brilliant. And then how can people kind of support the charity on the night, or is it on the ticket price? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's a bit of both. As you said, this is our first ever free show, so people are very welcome to just come along and enjoy the show for free. We will be taking donations on the night. We will have some buckets provided to us by Suffolk Mind. So there'll be opportunities to put cash in. We'll have links that we can send around for people to donate. But we've also set up the tickets so that if people want to, they can pay for a ticket up front, which is the whole of that ticket price goes to Suffolk Mind. Our ticket provider does have some fees, but they're added on top. So, for example, with the £5 ticket, you pay £5, £5 goes to Suffolk Mind, and there's a £10 ticket as well. So yeah, the option is there if people want to donate up front. It's not expected, it's not required to come along. Because it's a celebration of our 5 years, we wanted it to be accessible to as many people as possible and do something to give back at the same time. So people can come along without donating anything, but hopefully they'll have such a good time that they feel like they do want to donate as part of it as well.
I'm sure. So I've described it as brightly coloured chaos. Tell us more. What can the audience expect? As they've never seen Insert Laughter Here before on stage, what sort of thing can they expect for this particular, this special performance you're going to do?
Sure. So, with all of our shows, everything that happens is completely made up on the spot. We play a series of games, which are things like you might have seen on Whose Line Is It Anyway or Mock the Week. We've got our own versions of some of those games, and we've created some games ourselves. So, the games themselves have like a set structure, but we take suggestions from the audience as to the ingredients, if you like, for those scenes. So, it could be a location, it could be a line of dialogue, something like that. And then our performers just make stuff up based on that. And it's quite fast paced, which is why I describe it as colourful chaos. We deliberately make things as colourful as possible. I mean, I always have brightly coloured hair. That's just me, but we all wear different coloured ties. We have neon lights and all sorts of things. It just makes me really happy to see lots of colours everywhere, and it also makes me really happy to fill a room with laughter. So I thought I'd smash those two concepts together in colourful comedy.
You can't go wrong, really, can you? Tell us a bit more about the Hunter Club as well, just in case people haven't come across that before in Bury St Edmunds.
Sure, it is quite tucked out of the way. It's a really nice place. Primarily, it's a music and live events venue, but there's pool tables there, and a really nice bar. They've got two performing spaces, if you like, and they champion a lot of independent work, so bands, and they have an annual music competition, and it's just a really nice sort of encouraging place. We've been there a few times over the 5 years that we've been performing, and we've always had a really great time because there's such lovely people behind it, and they're really passionate about what they do, and the work that they put on is diverse, and we're a part of that. So it's really nice, and it made sense for us to choose there as the place we wanted to celebrate.
Oh, fantastic. And I mean, Bury St Edmunds is lovely anyway, so it's worth going and kind of just soaking up the whole atmosphere of Bury. But sort of parking wise and things, where's the sort of nearest place that you would park if you were going to go there, do you think?
Parking for the Hunter Club. The Cattle Market is the best place near where the new Primark is now. It's just a short walk from there. You can park in town after 6, although it'd be a Wednesday, so market day might be a bit tricky. There is street parking around, but it is usually quite busy of an evening, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but it's possible. Who knows? But yeah, just a short walk from Cattle Market car park. It's nice and easy to get to.
I'm just trying to literally sort of picture it in my mind. So from the cattle market, and you've got obviously you've got the Apex nearby, and you say the new Primark.
Yeah.
So which direction are we going to get there?
From that car park, head down past Primark through the Arc section of town, and then you get to the road that has the little Tesco's on it, and Denny Brothers Arch Supplies on the corner. If you get there and turn right, and then keep walking down that road, eventually you'll see the Hunter Club on the left. It's just a couple of minutes down from there.
There you go. Now everybody can see that in their mind, and they'll be
insert directions
their way to you. Exactly. Never mind laughter. Insert directions. Aaron, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. If people want tickets, they need to go to your website. So that's insertlaughterhere.co.uk. That's the easiest way of doing it. Yep. Congratulations on your 5th anniversary. I mean,
thank you.
From a gem of an idea, which is a brilliant idea, suddenly you're 5 years down the road. What's the next 5 years going to bring for you?
Goodness me, more shows. We have a sort of a long form format which we've been working on, which we're going to try and develop a bit further. We're hoping to do more fringes, and eventually Edinburgh Fringe would be really nice, although it's very expensive these days, but we're working on it. And who knows from there, celebrating 10 years, hopefully.
Definitely. Well, make sure you keep in touch with us here, won't you?
Will do.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and good luck for the show as well.
Thanks so much.
What's on across Suffolk with Stephanie McIntyre. Sponsored by Ruby Shoes Podcast, your weekly entertainment news podcast. Available from your smart speaker, Apple, Spotify, or you just follow Ruby Shoes Podcast on Facebook and click on the weekly podcast link to listen.
There's a host of great shows on offer across Suffolk's magnificent theatres, and here's just a selection to tempt you. Hello Again, the Neil Diamond Songbook is at the Apex Theatre in Bury St Edmunds on Wednesday the 26th of June from 7:30pm. Using evocative imagery, video and narration to enhance the magic, this acclaimed production will take you on a musical journey through Neil Diamond's glittering 50-year career. In this exciting live show, you'll be transported from the bang years to the present day and soon be singing along to all the hits, including, of course, Sweet Caroline, Cracklin' Rosie, Forever in Blue Jeans, Song Sung Blue, Hello Again, Love on the Rocks, America, and many, many more. Check out theapex.co.uk. Friday the 28th, Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets will be live at the Ipswich Regent Theatre. Formed in 2018, Nick Mason's Saucerful of Secrets are Nick Mason, Gary Kemp, Guy Pratt, Lee Harris and Dom Becken, and they play Pink Floyd's celebrated and significant early body of work, including tracks from the era of the 1967's The Piper at the Gates of Dawn through to 1972's Obscured by Clouds, which has included a much-lauded rendition of the 23-minute epic Echoes. Go to ipswichtheatres.co.uk to find out more. Friday the 28th to Saturday the 29th of June, the New Wolsey Theatre in Ipswich host Bindweed. Each week, 4 men convicted of domestic abuse offences meet in a community centre to undergo a perpetrator programme. Jen, the new group facilitator, feels out of her depth, but as she starts to make progress with the men inside the room, life outside begins to buckle. A shattering and darkly funny new play about responsibility and rehabilitation, Bindweed looks at what can be done to tackle the endemic of abuse at its root. Written by Martha Loder, Bindweed was first written as part of the Mercury Playwrights Scheme and won the Judges' Award at the Bruntwood Prize for Playwriting. Go to wolseytheatre.co.uk to find out more. Saturday the 29th of June from 7:30pm at the Spa Pavilion Theatre in Felixstowe, brand new for 2024, from hit producers, entertainers who brought you Lost in Music, Fast Love and Thank You for the Music. This is Lost in Music of Country. Join the Spa for a very special evening celebrating country superstar royalty, enjoying the biggest country songs of all time: 9 to 5, The Gambler, Walk the Line, Ring of Fire, King of the Road, Crazy, Rhinestone Cowboy, Jolene, Dance the Night Away, Walking After Midnight and many, many more. The stars of the hit show Islands in the Stream return in this brand new production that's now bigger than ever. It's a night like no other, so join them for a celebration live on stage of the music of a generation in one night of country classics. This is Country Roads. Go to spapavilion.uk to find out more. And finally, the Felixstowe Book Festival is happening this month, with 70% of the tickets already sold out. This popular book festival is on from the 26th through to the 30th of June, held at both Harvest House in Felixstowe and also the Two Sisters Arts venue in Trimley. To book your tickets and meet your favourite authors, go to felixstowebookfestival.co.uk. As this is our 40th episode of the Ruby Shoes podcast, the team here will be taking a couple of weeks off just to enjoy a bit of the hopefully sunny weather. Just looking out of the window of the studios here. At the moment, blue skies, big white fluffy clouds and proper sunshine. Let's hope it carries on, hey? We'll be back with you in July. In the meantime, get in touch with us via our Facebook page at Ruby Shoes Podcast. We'll still be checking that while we're having a short break. We'd love to hear from you if you've got a forthcoming play, a comedy, or maybe even an outdoor event that you'd like to tell us about, and we can tell everybody else about it. Remember, you can also listen again to any of the Ruby Shoes podcasts via Apple or Spotify or your smart speaker, or just click on the podcast links that we've posted on our Facebook page, and follow us too for all the latest entertainment news. I'm Steph McIntyre, thanks for listening, and we'll chat more about live theatre and all kinds of entertainment across the county next month. In the meantime, check out those socials at Ruby Shoes Podcast, and we'd love you to follow us too. Have a great couple of weeks, and let's pray for that sunshine.